Clips and broadcast. There we go. Clips and broadcast. There we go. All right. Microphone test. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do this over the car sounds and see. All right. Microphone test. This looks like. We're gonna do this over the car sounds and see. If you can hear me over the revving right now, let's see. Alright, we've cleared all that up. It sounds pretty decent. You guys can hear me. I'm just gonna mess around with a couple cars really quick and then switch over to some other vehicles that have just come out. The crew one's outdated, honestly. Yeah, he played with it. Or played the first game with me a little bit, yeah. Yeah, man, the Crew 2 is pretty epic, honestly. Car sounds are way better. No, this dude needs to get away from me. I gotta spawn away from him. He's, not gonna lie, he's actually kind of, triggering me a bit. His V6 fucking... Actually, my bad. It's his supercharged Camaro. Sorry, it's not a V6. That's why it sounds kind of... No, I hate people who sit there and bug. Yeah, the first game, I mean, it's interesting. Like, it was fun until this one came out. When this one came out, it was like, this is a whole new ball game. It's, if you like the first game, this game's like just that, but more. Way more. Honestly, just I like this game a lot. As you can see, like right now, I got the Daily Driven Exotics livery, going for some YouTube cars on here. I got a couple other designs that I went for. They're not all exact. Like on this one, the problem is down below the 11 on the side is supposed to be carbon. But it's supposed to only be that piece, and I only have the option to put an entire carbon side skirt on there, and it kind of ruins the Brixton Forged part. So I didn't do that, but the front bumper's right, the rear is almost right except for the part where it says Lamborghini, that's supposed to be orange, and the wing's also supposed to be orange. Other than that, everything else, including the rear bumper, like the exact shapes, everything, the wheels, the brake calipers, all of it's legitimately copied over from the car. But I have this one and two others that were designed off of Daily Driven Exotics cars because I decided to do something new with my cars. I don't know, they were all pretty basic and plain before, but I guess it was time to kind of give them a little bit of a flavorful update, and I figured why not do some actual tasteful liveries on the cars instead of garbage ones that look ricey. So we've got Vorsteiner on there. You got the twin turbo Huracan stamp DDE with the Daily Driven Exotics under it. The 11 on the side, on the top. You got XComp, PFS, Protective Film Solutions. Pretty sick. It's pretty sweet, honestly. No, you can't tint the windows. It's not an option at all. You can tint the windows in the second game, but it doesn't work inside. It's only an exterior thing, but really, it looks kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. Blacking out your windows is definitely not a cool thing to do. I'd say just light tint to where people could still see inside to a point. That's probably the best way to do it. And on this game, you can kind of do it. There's a very annoying player over here. Third DDE build right here. It's like this dude's following. Oh my god. So, I meant to start up the game, and I don't know what they did to the front of this car, but it's a little messed up. I just realized that. Yeah, this one's kind of ghetto. Okay, I gotta get away from this dude. Oh yeah, graphics on this game are, like, insane compared to the first game. Livery customizations on here. I mean, the first game you didn't have that. Just everything, like, everything's better. Including, which is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, some of the new vehicles that were recently added. Now, a lot of people who don't really pay attention to the second game and played the first game, you know, if they search it up or anything, Bugatti actually was added to the Crew 2, starting with the Chiron, this thing, which I absolutely love. Like, it's an amazing car, and I was so surprised when they added it. But it's got all the wing functions. It's insane. Yeah, there's both the Hellcat and the Demon, actually. Hold up, before I get into the rest of the Bugattis, I'll actually show you those. So on here you do have you have a standard SRT8, I believe is what it is. Yeah, it should be the like 2007 or so. Which one is it? Oh, 2012 actually.
Did you eat your cinnamon things?
Nah. Take them and go. That's stupid. Oh god. So you got your classic 1970 Challenger on here, and then you got the 2012 SRT8. Then you have the Demon, which I could have sworn I didn't do it black. I don't know why I've got mine black. I swear I left mine stock. So hold on, I'm gonna go back to. I guess I made it black. It was supposed to be red. I don't remember doing this, but I wanted the stock Demon look. I guess I accidentally put black on here. But yeah, you got the Demon with the little logo I'll pull up. I believe there's something in first person also that you can see, but you got the Demon logo right there instead of the Hellcat, which is pretty sick. And then comes with the, you know, the full stock setup. Yeah, the car in the game just idle like this right here. It's beautiful, just the idle. It's gorgeous. And inside every car in this game, just like the first game, one thing they did absolutely right was details in cars. Sound wise, it was garbage. But physical, like interior details, things like that, they did probably some of the best work on. Everything worked in the first game, speedometers and all of that, like it all worked. Same thing in this game. It's no Need for Speed, you know, they can't, they actually have the interiors. That's one thing about Need for Speed I'll always hate. It's an arcade game, but it doesn't mean they couldn't do anything realistic like that on the inside. This is an arcade game as well, but it's just way more detailed, way better. The Hellcat, right? Or you got the Demon, my bad, the actual Demon and the flame look right there in the center console screen. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, this thing's pretty amazing. But this actually was added on Halloween. Literally on Halloween day, they tossed in the Demon, and Kind of surprised everybody, but I love it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Need for Speed's whack, honestly. I mean, Need for Speed Heat's cool, but it's just never gonna be as large. Like, one thing I'll give it props is sessions. The one thing Need for Speed beats this game completely over is the sessions and stuff. Creativity. I mean, this game's now, advanced itself in livery editing and things like that. Some wheel options are a bit different between this and Need for Speed, and I wish, they would add really, not even new wheels. Add in the option to change the color of the stock wheels, and also add the option to change the paint that goes on the wheels from chrome to like a gloss or a matte, or like a different finishes or something. It's a problem on this game because you're stuck with chrome. Like, if you change you can't change the stock wheel color, but when you do change the wheels to non-stock wheels, you can change the color, but it's always chrome, like always. So it's kind of garbage, but I feel like eventually they could update the game to do that, because they did the same thing with liveries. Liveries used to be nothing but matte colors. Now you can do them in chrome, you can do them in metallic, you can do them in anodized. You can do them just like any color you could put on the car. And I think it's pretty awesome the way they did that. And right here I got this livery that somebody made. Works really, really well with the car. You got the SRT. It's all custom design, but it looks so good. And this is just the standard Hellcat too. As you can tell, interior. You got the red around the gauges up there. Then you have your Hellcat in the center. And then the stock Hellcat hood, which looks pretty badass. And then, of course, you got the SRT-8 Charger, 2 Vipers, old school SRT-10, and then the GTS, which is pretty sick. Alright, we're gonna go back to the Bugattis, just cause, man, that's I feel like that's the ultimate thing that they added in this game compared to the last game, and something that no other game has done this perfectly, for sure. Like, I don't even think Forza's done the Bugattis as well as the Crew 2 has. You got the lights. Just the rain effects. If you look at the ground, the reflections and stuff, it looks really beautiful. Rain on the car. The tail lights. The interior is a really cool thing, honestly. Hold on, let me... Every once in a while for car events and stuff, nothing really much else. The game's kind of, in my opinion, not really worth getting on anymore. I don't know, I mean, the casino stuff kind of brought me back for a little bit, and then it just kind of faded. I'm too busy for a lot of the stuff on that game. So we have the Chiron stitching there. We have the actual, it's at nighttime, it's actually a light bar. I don't know if I can make it come on if I go to night. Oh, that's really weird. I know that when that game naturally goes to night, it does. Details on this car are just amazing, dude. Just that tail light. The pictures on this game too are just, oh, they're insane, man. Just taking pictures on here is crazy. Like, the options that you got. the focus blur, you know, you could do a little bit of distance. I do a lot of photography on here. I kind of get a little more of the rain effect in there. It's insane, man. Kind of, not necessarily. It's a lot more complicated than Rockstar Editor. It's harder to use. What is this? Get out of here, kid. Custom wheels and crap. Anyways, though, outside of this dude, yeah, he's in a whack Chiron. Jesus. Okay, so the next vehicle they added, in Bugatti, was the Devo, which is just like a special version. Now this one, now you can see the LED light in the center. I'm pretty sure the regular Chiron has it, like it actually lights up. It's just this one, it's a whole lot more obvious, like it's a lot more visible. You can see the curve in the center on the inside that splits. It's like a white stripe, that's actually an LED light. And then you've got the blue side and then the black side. And then on the blue side, I believe there's like black accents. The heck? And then on the black side, there's blue accents. And then we got the stock Chiron. This is actually a stock color for the Chiron, the blue. And then the light blue actual Bugatti color accents along with the wheel stripe around. And then the Bugatti symbol on the wheel. And then you have the what do you call it? The or not the French flag right there on the side. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And then the rear lights, they are pretty much straight taken from a Vulcan, like the Aston Martin Vulcan. I mean, it's literally the same design, just tossed onto the Devo, which is pretty cool though. And it sounds pretty much the same as the Chiron, because it's running pretty much the same thing. It's got maybe a little bit more power, but not too much. And the front lights are just amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the next Bugatti and show it off, which was just added the other day, yesterday actually. Jesus. So going back to the classics, the Veyrons, I believe it's 16.4. Yeah, Grand Sport Vitesse. They're actually doing summits on this game as well, along like the same as the first game. You can earn vehicles, and in this one they are doing the Super Sport version of the Bugatti, the record holder edition, which is going to be the orange with the, what was it? It was like black and orange, like it was like a light black, like maybe like a carbon black, with the orange accents around the side, kind of like how this one has the, what do you call it? The carbon. So like all of that is going to be and yeah, it's just going to be pretty much exactly like the Super Sport, including the wheels. On this game, level-wise, as you can see up in the top right corner, like the follower system, this game works differently from the first game. In the first game, I'm max level. I'm like level 50 or level 60, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I remember they upped the level, but I don't know if it was like level 50 or not. But I got there. On the first game, yeah, I maxed everything out. Everything's finished. But on this game, I am Icon 636, which I will actually show you how much of a pain in the ass it really is to be that. Level-wise, okay, so these vehicles that are popping up on the screen, I'll go through what that is. Rookie, You every time, okay, when you first start this game, you start out as a rookie, and once you get to so many followers, you level up to popular, and then to famous, and then to star, and then to icon. And from icon, every 10 levels, you get a part. So all of these, every time I got to like icon 40, icon 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then icon 100, I got the Camaro ZL1 for free. And then after that, this airplane, another 100 levels up, which it gets harder and harder to level up. Like, you need more and more followers to get to the next level. So my next level up is at another 11,432 followers, so that'd take like another several races. Like, I mean, like, yeah, like it'd take like maybe one hypercar race, but like maybe 2 or 3 regular standard races to get there. Or well, actually, it might even take more than that, because I think you only earn like 1,000 followers a race, maybe like 2,000. So you could think about that, how pain in the ass that is. But yeah, I managed to do that. It took me quite a while to get up here to 636. And I mean, it's gonna take me a whole fucking lot longer to get to 1,000, which I literally grinded to 636. I grinded up past 600 for the LaFerrari, because you cannot buy the LaFerrari from just a shop. You have to get to icon 600 to unlock it. And for like 2 months, I gave up on the game because I got so frustrated with doing the same events, and then the new events not really leveling you up enough. So I kind of really stuck to the same events anyways. So I got so bored that I kind of gave up for like 2 months. I would have probably been like icon 900 or so by now, but during those, like I said, for a whole 2 months, I literally didn't even get on this game. And so I just recently grinded all the way up here, and now I'm working towards this NSX, which I really could care less about, but I'd like this monster truck to do some cool stuff with. And then all the way up to icon 1000 is the Bugatti Chiron Carbon Edition, which is another special version. And since we're showing those, I will show you the other rare Bugattis that are in the game other than the level 1000 Chiron Edition, the Carbon, yeah. Then you have the Devo Magma Edition, which is the Devo, but it's the specific design on it, which you can't do necessarily with the regular car, so it's pretty unique. Like the side designs where it's got the orange on the bottom and all that, like that's all specific. Same thing with the lights. The interior is completely custom. It's really, really cool looking, but yeah, I don't know. So from there, go back to this wonderful thing, which, nah, my Grom was jacked. And followers on this game, you just play races. I mean, you can get followers in free mode, like you got money in the first game. But, like, you know, just driving with friends and stuff gets you followers. You know, going high speeds, driving in an oncoming traffic, it gets you followers. But, yeah, so, right here we got the very beautiful Bugatti Veyron. And I did a silver with carbon. Like, I got a carbon front bumper and then carbon side skirt with the carbon fender in the back, carbon rear bumper, and then the top is just stock. Yeah, it got stolen. Yeah, a couple months ago. So, cool thing about this car is the Active Aero wing, which actually manages to do everything that the real wing does, which is really cool. Yeah, it's insane. Where did I leave it? I left it out in front of my house. Nowhere stupid. Nah, but it don't matter. It's whatever. Shit happens, dude. So the interior of this Bugatti is pretty sweet. Got the stock interior for the most part. Carbon fiber center console there, and then you got all your gauges and the Bugatti symbol, of course. You got that little plaque in the middle. I believe it said something special on it. Damn. Oh no, it doesn't. There might be something behind there. But yeah, it's like a special edition. It also has the sunroof up there that you can clearly see in the camera mode, but it's harder to use it really in first person. But the fact that the detail is there, it's kind of amazing. So the Chiron being one of the newer vehicles, it's pretty amazing to have in game. You know, I was kind of leading up through the Bugattis to show that. Starting the game off and having access to another car like the 918 though was pretty crazy and insane as is. Like when I got that car, I was pretty excited. I thought it was amazing. Then of course this cool thing, the Agusta. But you know, like I said, the 918 was modeled after the Carrera GT, like shape-wise, and I think between the two, it's just insane. Because this thing is a, if I'm not wrong, I believe it is a V12 engine, and the Carrera GT is a V10, and it's actually one of the most unique V10s in the game. And hold on, I'm gonna set this as favorite really quick because V10 engines in this game sound a specific way, and they both the Gallardo and the Huracan sound exactly the same. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll show this. So the difference between the CGT and the Gallardo, it's crazy. So that's a Gallardo. This is the CGT. Both V10s. But as you can hear, the idle sound is different. And we're fixing to rev it, and you're gonna hear a complete different sound. It's amazing what they did with this car. Detail, sound, they actually made it unique, and it was funny because the second I heard, like, there was a rumor that they were adding this car, being the car nerd that I am, and being specific about everything, I managed to email Ubisoft, well, Ivory Tower, and go on their Twitter page and send them a message specifically saying, like, I'd really respect it if they had tried really hard to add in a new engine model for this car, and make it unique like the real Carrera GT is, because it's one of the most, it's actually considered by a lot of people the most unique V10 engine sound ever. And I wouldn't argue. I mean, I think it sounds amazing. The interior is very, very nice. It's so perfect, dude. From the seats to the little window and everything, it's just perfect. Even the little pieces of the engine cover and everything, it's literally the same stuff. It's like little mesh wiring, which is pretty sick. That's how the real car is done. Then you see the Porsche engine in there, which is I mean, actually, VW does the majority of the engines for Porsche, but I don't know. This might actually be. I'm pretty sure they just did a cover. It's really a Volkswagen engine. It might be Volkswagen built V10, but you know, with the Porsche cover on there. Then again, it could be just like how the Audi, the V10 Plus, is the Lamborghini engine. I mean, this could be I wouldn't think it would be, because I'm pretty sure it's tuned differently and it's set up a bit differently. But it could be a Lamborghini engine, just tuned and modified, you know, and different exhaust, different, you know, components inside the car could change it. So it could be actually Lamborghini underneath there. And they just put Porsche covers on it like Audi did with the R8. But I don't know. I don't think that's how this one was done. I think this is actually a Volkswagen engine underneath. It's just got the Porsche clamps on there. It's just a cover. But it's gorgeous nonetheless. I really couldn't care. It's a beautiful sound. So from that vehicle, going on to the next new one, we are gonna go check out the CGT, or not the CGT, but the Citroen GT. The CGT is a Carrera. But this car, I don't know. Citroen makes some pretty weird stuff. They got some hatchbacks and some sports cars out there. They got racing company, you know, positions and stuff, like where they have their own built race cars that are pretty crazy. They do a lot of crazy stuff. They actually have a Citroen Vision GT, which I don't know if this is the same thing. I don't think it is. I think they're very different. But I could be wrong. If you go play Gran Turismo and see this thing, tell me. But the lights in the back are just crazy. The way the tail sticks out is insane. This is a hypercar, by the way. This is supposed, and when I say this, it may sound a little crazy. This is supposed to be a street legal vehicle. It's supposed to be a very unique, you know, one-off kind of Supercar Blondie style car, because, you know, Supercar Blondie does a lot of rare car reviews and stuff, and shows off a lot of unique one-off cars, like unicorn cars, I guess. And I guess this would be one of them. It's a very unique car. I don't think there's very many. The headlights are pretty cool. The little design on the side. Now the interior is probably the most insane. It's got this like chrome, copperish kind of colored metal, maybe like a rose gold if you want to say. And then it's got a racing steering wheel, which is pretty insane. looking backwards, of course you can't really, because there's no window. But it's also got a hydrogen fuel cell, so it's a pretty high-powered vehicle. This thing's crazy. It's a Ford V8. Like, it's a Ford V8 engine with a hydrogen fuel cell, and it's got like all kinds of crazy power put down on that V8. But there's also a version of this car that just runs off of the standard for it's like I believe it's just a turbocharged Ford V8. But yeah, it's insane, dude. This car, the shapes, they're just insane. Like right here, it's all air, dude. It's all going in there, going behind the wheel, being pushed out through back here, which is absolutely crazy. Then you got more, you know, aerodynamics back here. Oh, my controller's freaking out. That's what that is. It's automatically turning to the left. I was not trying to do that. That's so your engine can get some nice flow through it also, which the air goes in up here and kind of comes out back there. It's all about keeping the car cool and keeping the air, you know, flowing through the car instead of, you know, directly hitting it and slowing it down. It cuts through it and gives the car downforce. So it's because these cars are pretty light compared to a lot of other vehicles, and for the speeds that they go, like how light they are is kind of scary. So let's say like you were to take one of these vehicles without all this, you know, all of these aerodynamic little slits, like all these vents and stuff that catch air and kind of push the air towards the how do you say it, like push the air around it instead of necessarily, it doesn't push it through like underneath the car, because if air caught underneath it would literally lift the thing and destroy it. So we're gonna go ahead and, I guess that could be like a good picture. Go take some focus blur, give it a little bit of distance. It's pretty sick. I do a lot of this stuff, and I'd like to do it in real life. Like, I would like to, I'd like to actually be a professional photographer, and I feel like I probably could. It's just that I don't have a very decent camera at the moment, and I don't want to use something ghetto and then make ghetto pictures to try to get attention when they're really not worth it. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can blur that little thing out. And it doesn't look like it really matters. Affects that rain right there too. We'll go ahead and take a screenshot of that. It's probably gonna cut off the video for a few seconds, yeah. Alright, so on to the next vehicle. And final new vehicle, which after this I'm going to go inside the garage area and kind of show off some of the customization for these things. Some of them aren't really as fancy or nice as others, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. So this is the 599XX Evo. which is just, I mean, the 599 already as is, like a stock car, is a crazy car. But this thing is just a whole new level of insane. I believe it's the Goodwood. I believe that's the festival. It's like Goodwood Festival of Cars or something. Let me be specific here, because I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. My bad. Festival of Speed. There we go. Goodwood Festival of Speed. I knew it was something like that. Every year they do this event, and they do a lot of testing of cars, and this car's actually popped up a couple times at the event, and it sounds a lot like this. This is pretty close, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty crazy. The crackles and the pops that this car gives off. It's a straight race car, really, but it's really, really cool. On the inside, we have what I believe is a camera right there recording. Then we have, I mean, it could be like a sensor or something to detect certain things, but I'm pretty sure it's a camera. Then we have the vents. Sorry about that. We have the button controls for the wheel. If I could actually look just straight down. Let's see, flash, pit, radio. I have no idea really what any of that means, and I don't think that's what it really says. We have some other controls over there, like the start and stop, and I just ran into a pole. Oh no, a tree. Oh shit. So we also have where it says Ferrari right there in the center. I believe the floor on this other side is made out of metal. I'll have to go check all that out. There's a roll cage in here. There's a mirror. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and take a closer look at the insides of these cars and some of the customization. So we're gonna go ahead and back out into the map. I am all the way up in near Seattle. Holy hell. Oh, I spawned all the way up here, that's right. So we're gonna enter the HQ where we started at, and we'll go ahead and start with the CGT since it's already sitting here. So things, if you're still in the stream, Andrew, cool thing about this game that's different from the first. I mean, you could do a lot of this stuff in the first game, but you couldn't do it while moving around like this. And not only that, but like that. You could go into camera mode, and I'm not even kidding, you can go into camera mode and take photos inside the house. Which is really, really cool. This is how we're gonna get an interior look, like a deeper design, like a closer look at like the seats and the back kind of portion of the car, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I can't go in for some reason unless I sit in the vehicle. I don't get that. So you got carbon door panels. You've got a whole chunk of carbon behind the seat. Like all of this is made out of carbon. It looks like a gloss carbon fiber finish. Carrera GT right there on the door. Like I said, these are carbon seats, like bucket seats. You have carbon fiber right next to the gauges up there. Then you have some metal, like yeah, just straight metal. And then on the ceiling, you have carbon fiber up there as well. It's pretty straightforward. And some what look like crazy ass pedals. I don't know who the hell uses those, because holy shit, my feet would be dead. That looks insane. I hope that's not what they really look like. Yeah, pretty much stock. All around the body. It's a very, very beautiful car. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's gorgeous. The windows go up and down. You can actually come sit in the car and start it up in here. Turn on the windshield wipers and see how they work. And kill the car. Now this is how we get an interior look. We've got all of these little detailed switches. What looks like a manual. This is a manual. There's your stick shift. Which I think this is like one of the final raw cars that you could like drive. So there's that. It's forcing me out of the car. Okay, so that's a problem with the camera mode. It does not let you go back down. It like forces you upward, which is stupid. So it says Porsche something. Then we have the back portion here. And everything on the inside's nothing more than what you could really see from the outside anyways. But yeah, it's pretty insane. So now that we've checked this one out, we're gonna go ahead and switch vehicles. We are going to go to the Bugatti because I'd just like to show this one next. So we got the door, the lights, of course, which are really awesome looking. Tail lights, like absolutely beautiful. Then we have the interior, which we have the sunroof, which you can see through and see that sign up there. This is actually a custom colored interior. I did this color in here for a reason. But we have, that's a weird horn, but yeah. Now on all of the pieces in here, I'll actually show in a moment. Windshield wipers. We'll go ahead and do this. So on this area, we do have the Bugatti logo and that top gauge. Your hazard lights. What I believe is the radio. Yeah, it's like your entire Bugatti radio or stereo system where you put your discs. Some other settings, I'm guessing, has something to do with like, yeah, it's got like the seat warmers and like your air conditioning and stuff like that. Then your you know, park, reverse, neutral, all of that right there. I don't know, I'm guessing that's some form of sport modes and like other mode controls, and then start, I'm guessing, is how you start the car. You put the key in the ignition, and then instead of starting it up there, I think you just once you put the key in, you can press the button to start the car. I believe is how that works. Those pedals look a lot more comfortable, not gonna lie. There's your wiper controls and everything, signal controls. Then you have your paddle shifters there, and then your tachometer and fuel gauge and all that on there. It's pretty cool. Like I think honestly the Bugatti's got one of the most unique interiors also, because it's got like this little plate right here. Of course it took me out. And then you have the Vitesse or whatever, or the, my bad, I said that so wrong. The Vitesse badging in the seats. Bugatti logo on the steering wheel. You have the little glass right here that shows the engine in the back, which is, of course, the Bugatti V16, which it actually, oh well, 16.4, my bad. Well, it's called the W16, but I mean, the reason they call it the W16 is really because the W looks like two V's, so it's like a double V, really. But it's some people call it the V16, some people call it the W16. It's practically two V8 engines. It's like this part over here is a V8, this part over here is a V8. You got all of your pistons and everything running in there. It's literally just so much power when you strap those two engines together. It's like, I think it's in the real life car, the 16.4 has like 1200 horsepower, so a little over 1,000. And I don't know. I think if I'm not wrong, it could be uh, only 1,000. I think it is 1,200, but it could be only 1,000. Um, it's somewhere around there. It's pretty close. Like it's got a shit ton of horsepower. But yeah, no, this car is insane. We're gonna go ahead and check out the rest of the cars, and I'm gonna end the stream because I really just wanted to check these out and kind of show them off. And there's more cars coming, like the RX-7. There's the Ghost Recon Edition Raptor, which I probably won't mess with. Sadly, I'm just not purely interested because it's a standard race truck, race Raptor, which I already own, and it's a livery put on top. There's no special wheels, there's no special anything. It's really just a livery that Ubisoft kind of made. I think really you could make it yourself and make it look like that. There might be like a roof rack or something that makes it different, but I'm not really interested. So we got the CGT and the Bugatti. Now we have the Citroen, which I was looking at earlier. It does have some very unique doors. There's a little button right there that you press. The doors do come up kind of like a McLaren F1 or some other cars, although they're a little more sharp right here. You do have all of this color right here. You have this crazy steering wheel, which we had seen earlier. There's the start button, I believe. Then all of your insane controls, which we're going to take a deeper look at here. I think all of those are just, it's kind of like a jet. It's got different modes. Your air conditioning, everything like that is all in these controls, along with, some other stuff like race mode and things like that. But hazard lights, a couple other hazard switches, I'm guessing some sort of like inner, combustion protection system, I guess. If the engine blows, you might have a built-in system to control that. Of course, your LED lights in the wheel there that tell you, when to shift and everything. Looks like you're pressing a little button instead of paddle shifters to switch gears, which is kind of crazy. So you'll be using your thumbs there a lot. I think you'd probably be holding that upper portion of the wheel then. Well, no, you'd probably keep your fingers wrapped around it. And then it's actually supposed to in the game. I don't think it does work, but it's supposed to have a digital display up in the front. That's what that is. It's more like a jet. It does work in the uh, Agosta, the Lamborghini Agosta, but it does not work in this car. I don't think. You got all this crazy stuff. It's a Citroen. This crazy center design, which we will back out and show. The seats, like the buckles and stuff, it's like race seats. You buckle the part across right there, and then the straps right here. Uh, yeah, that's the inside of this thing. It's pretty insane. Not gonna lie. The door handles, the way they sit, are they are up on top instead of down below, which is pretty interesting. And we're gonna go ahead and look at the final car, and then literally, like right after that, I'm probably gonna end the stream because I figured I'd wait until another time to actually go play around with some of this stuff. So we have the 599, which looks pretty cool. The window is just the tiny little window, racing window, which it's actually not mechanical, although they made it sound like it was. You just push that with your hands. That's really all you do. So as you can see already in the interior, you got, the Ferrari badging, the racing style seats with the clamps. You have the crazy pedals up there. We're gonna go ahead and sit in. You got the roll cage. It does have windshield wipers. It does have a horn. Or well, I don't think it's really it really does have a horn. I think that's a lie. But there's your gauge, which is a track style, uh, display. Then you have your vents, all of your switches, engine start. There's a lot of processes and a lot of flipping switches to get these things to start. You have to like turn that thing and then press like some like this thing and then I don't know, yeah, then push start or hold start. You have to like hold in the brake and then push start. They're kind of weird. Then you have I have no idea what that box right there is. I don't think it's necessarily too important. What would be your fire hydrant? Or, yeah, that's what that is. Ferrari badging. The 599XX right there on the side in carbon fiber. We have the racing seats with the roll cage in the back, which is pretty insane. And not a whole lot to see back there other than the main setup. So this is pretty insane. This is actually a front engine car, so everything's running up here. So we're looking at some pretty cool stuff. The cars in this game are amazing. The world in this game, for the most part, is amazing. Multiplayer is kind of a pain in the ass, and there's a few customization options that are limited. But I think for the most part, besides all of that, it's a massive open world multiplayer. 4 people at a time. Yeah, there's games that have better, but 4 people at a time. You can bring out some very nice cars. You can do a lot of customization, show off, really good pictures. The camera mode, the recording, the editing. You can do video clips in here that are really cool. It's a little complicated, but it's nothing that can't be figured out. It's got custom interiors, unlike some other games. Well, really just Need for Speed, which the new game's cool and all, but that's a problem with me. I love interiors of cars. I love first person. I love driving with my wheel. I love stuff like that. But the Crew 2, massive map, airplanes, motorcycles, monster trucks, dirt bikes, boats. I mean, there's a helicopter. There's hypercars, street cars, trucks. There's demolition cars. There's straight track like Le Mans style cars. There's F1 cars. The list goes on, man. It's crazy. There's rallycross, you know. All of these vehicles and all of these different motorsport classes brought into one game. The first game had quite a bit, but this game has so much more, and it's so much bigger, and the world is so much more vibrant and alive. And at night, it's beautiful. The cities light up. There's riverways to take you through, and let you see some of the pretty stuff. Uh, Players, there's a lot of players on here. You load into a lot of lobbies with a lot of random players. You can get up to 8 people in a session. Just it's a pain in the ass to get 8 friends in a session and keep them there. But uh, yeah, like player versus player events are amazing. Everything's pretty much just interesting. It's a really fun game, and it's definitely worth owning if you like cars. So that being said, that's the end of today's little stream. Thank you guys for checking it out. If you do, don't forget to leave a like and do all the other cool stuff. Um, can't wait to actually get on this game and cruise around with a few buddies maybe and make a video out of that. We'll probably do some cruises or something, some Gumball related stuff. I'm just kind of waiting. So, yeah, until then, peace out, guys.